I get asked at least once a week, if not more, from someone in like my real life, whether it's like on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, text, email, like whatever. I'm constantly getting asked something like, hey Jessica, I hate corporate and I would like to start my own business. How do I do that? I'm literally getting asked this question from people in all walks of corporate. Like, corporate sucks, I want out, how do I do this? Or maybe even corporate doesn't suck, but I'm a stay-at-home mom and I need to make money from home and I want something that's gonna sustain me after my kids go to school, and how do I do that? And listen, if anybody was equipped to tell you, it's me. I did that. I got the t-shirt. Like, we are here because of me doing this 13 years ago. Back in 2010, I had my first son and I was in a corporate job that I just absolutely despised. It was awful, it was terrible, whatever. And I've talked about that a million times on this channel, but I was desperate to start my own business from home so that I could stay home with him, eventually stay home with my second kid, and then get to the point where we are now. And there was no real resources out there to be able to help me to do that. So honestly, I love that people ask me this every single week because I'm like, I am so glad that I can point you in the right direction. And I love that I can do a video like this to hopefully, if you're in this situation, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to start my own business. I'd love to do something where I work from home and get out of corporate, or, help us financially or whatever, that you have the resources to do that. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes of like how to start a business from home, what kind of businesses you can start from home, and all of that, I need to make a clarification, a declaration, an announcement that hopefully will help you kind of wrap your head around this thing, because this is where I see most people getting tripped up. There are two types of businesses in the world. Two. Like, literally. I mean, I know there's more if you categorize them differently, but two types based on what I'm gonna say today, okay? There is the audience needing type of business. The type of business that is going to thrive off of having a big audience that you're gonna need to do social media for, that you're gonna need to go out into the world and like build a platform for. And then there's the business that does not need an audience, okay? Or doesn't require as big of an audience. So there's the audience required business and the not so audience required business. That's the two categories we're gonna talk about, okay? And it is way easier to start, grow, and make money from a non-audience requiring business than it is an audience requiring business from the jump. Now, an audience requiring business is one like mine, where I am building this big audience and I am selling people, $27 courses, $97 courses, $300 courses, $10 digital products, like whatever, right? And that is more scalable and might make you more money in the long run. But from the get-go, like making you money from the jump, you're gonna have a lot better of a chance to make big amounts of money within a business that doesn't necessarily require an audience. So I will have a lot of people come to me and they'll be like, hey, I need to make $2,000 a month or $5,000 a month or like whatever pretty quickly. Like in the next 3 months, I need to be making $5,000 a month. And I really wanna have this like massive YouTube channel and talk about like gardening or whatever. And I always tell them that like those two things do not work together. You can have that massive YouTube channel. You can have a business built around gardening. You can do all of these things that are more like audience centric. You can have that big following and the big platforms and all of that stuff, but that is not going to get you to money per month quickly. That is a marathon, not a sprint. And you can much quicker get to those income goals by doing something that doesn't require as much of an audience, which is more of like a service-based business. So if you are willing to run this business without making any money, basically, and like build an audience and all of that for a while, and you're okay with that before you get to the point where you're ready to like actually make money, then you can totally go with the audience facing business. But if you are like, I need to make $1,000 a month, $2,000, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month quickly, I would recommend not worrying about that type of business right now and getting started with something that doesn't require as much of an audience, like some kind of service for somebody else. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, because I know most of you are gonna fall into the category of, I wanna quit my corporate job, I need to make money to help pay off debt, I want to start making money from home, like all of these types of categories, we're mostly gonna talk about the type of business that does not need a major audience and is not gonna take you very long to build, and that you could start and actually make money from in the next 30 days. That's what we're gonna talk about in this video. So the first thing you need to do is you need to come up with an idea of what your business is gonna be. Now again, if we are not requiring an audience, if we're not like needing thousands of people in an audience to make $1,000 or make $10,000 or whatever, then we're looking at something that's like a service for other people. Okay, so this could be anything from copywriting, graphic design, accounting, Facebook ads, social media marketing, web design, project management, cleaning houses, video editing, etc. You need to utilize the skills that you already have, even if those skills are minute, even if those skills are not yet developed essentially, but use the skills you already have to come up with some type of service that you can provide other people. So a lot of times when I tell people this, they're like, I don't have any skills. I don't have any skills. That's bullcrap. Literally bullcrap. Whatever you are doing now in corporate can be somehow converted into a service. I'm going to give you lots of examples, but it can. Also, if you're like a stay-at-home mom or something like that, you don't think the skills that you have can be useful to somebody else? Yes, absolutely they can. So for me, I was 24 years old. I had been to college, I had gotten my degree. My degree was in communication with a concentration in advertising, and I had done a little bit of graphic design work in that degree program. I had also done a little bit of web design. So when it came time to start offering a service for other people, I started offering graphic and web design, and I taught myself anything else I didn't know. And this was back in the day, y'all, of not a ton of like blog posts and YouTube channels and things that could teach you how to do these things. I literally went to Hobby Lobby, I think, and bought a Web Design for Dummies book. And that is how I taught myself web design. And then I turned around and offered that as a service and made really good money. Well, not at first, but that's a conversation for a different day, but eventually made really good money and then turned that business into this business, and here we are. My husband has a degree in construction management and worked for 14 years as a building inspector in our county. And when we started talking about him quitting his job and blah, 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 he kept saying like, but I don't have any skills. I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would do a service for somebody. And I kept pushing him on that because I knew better, right? And he eventually got to the point where he was like, of course, I could do estimations and project management and things like that for contractors. And that is what he's doing. And he's almost 2 years in. So he took the skills he had and turned them into a service for a particular group of people. I have a friend who is not trained in accounting necessarily, as far as like, she's not like a CPA or something like that, but she has always done like bookkeeping and all of that kind of stuff for small businesses in her roles. And she could easily offer bookkeeping to small businesses, no problem. This could also be photography. Maybe you want to take some money and invest in a good camera and learn the art of photography and do that as a service for people. I had a friend recently who was willing to invest in a program of someone else's that taught them how to be social media managers. And she was going to be doing that program while she was still in corporate and couldn't afford to do that, and then using those skills to start her own business. There are so many options here, okay? Like literally so many options, but you need to come up with an idea of a service that you can do for other people. The second thing you need to do is you need to network like crazy, okay? You need to network. That's either gonna be Facebook groups, online communities, things like that, or it's gonna be, and by the way, it can be all of these too, or it's gonna be like locally in like chamber events or business associations or whatever. And you can even pull in your friends and your family. Just start telling people that you're doing this thing, right? It'll eventually trickle down and somebody will be like, oh, I need that, right? And if you will do your job to network in the right way really quickly, then people are going to start coming to you pretty fast. So if you're out here on Facebook like, hey guys, I am taking on bookkeeping clients on the side, and let me know if you know of a small business that needs a bookkeeper. I guarantee that somebody out there in your network knows somebody who needs that. Same thing with web designer, graphic designer, whatever. Mock up a website or mock up a couple of websites and take screenshots and post them on social media and in Facebook groups and be like, hey, if anybody needs a website, I can do it. Here's how to get in touch with me, blah, blah, blah. My husband hadn't even quit his job yet when he had the first contractor come to him and be like, I need you, right? Because he was telling people what he was going to be doing after he quit his job. And it really helped that he was also like already in that industry. Something I didn't mention a second ago was virtual assistants. Now, a virtual assistant is an easier path to get into to do more of like broad work for people. So my first virtual assistant like checked my email and uploaded podcast episodes and things like that. And I've had lots of virtual assistants along the way who've done like lots of things like that to like, you know, in all of these arenas. I didn't mention this in the service, but that could be a really great service too. And if you're coming out of corporate in a more like administrative role, that could be awesome. And you could easily be like, hey, Uncle Bob, I know you have a lot of connections and I am gonna start my own virtual assistant business on the side. And I'm gonna be doing things like checking people's emails and uploading podcasts, creating spreadsheets, creating blog posts, like anything that someone might need, I am available to do it. Please let me know if you know of anyone who needs that. Thanks, Uncle Bob. You know, and then Uncle Bob's gonna be like, yeah, I totally know somebody who needs that. Let me get you connected. I have a friend who's a paralegal and she started marketing herself as like a paralegal assistant, like virtually, you know? And so now she's able to go out and work for other attorneys virtually to do the stuff they need without them having to have staff in the office. It's a win-win-win for everybody. But none of it's gonna work if you don't network, okay? The work is in the network. And then the last thing you need to do, because like you have to figure this out, is to find a way to charge people and collect money. Like, that's it. I use a software called Dubsado to send out contracts and invoices and things like that for any kind of like one-on-one or service work. And I will link that below. I do absolutely love Dubsado, but this could be as simple as like a PayPal button or having people Venmo you and then you doing the service. Now, obviously, as you grow, you're probably going to want to make this a bit more legit, you know, so that it's not just like flying by the seat of your pants, but come up with a way for people to pay you and for you to get that money. And that's it. You've started your business. You found a service, you told people about it. You're gonna, like, your whole job until you get your first few clients is this part, right? Like telling people about it, telling people about it, telling people about it, telling people about it. And then you are gonna come up with a way to charge them and collect the money, and that's it. As you grow in the business and as you start to like actually get clients, you can step up and level up in different areas in the business. Like maybe you do want to sign up for Dubsado, but for now you're going to do PayPal, right? Maybe in the future you want to have like really ironclad contracts, but right now you're just going to start like getting people in the roster. Maybe you're starting as a broad spectrum VA, but you really want to focus on podcast editing. Like all of this stuff will come as you go, but for now, start that business from home with very little money. You don't even need a website. Just come up with a service you want to do, come up with a charge, like a rate that you want to charge people, go network, and I promise you that you will have clients coming to you if you will do the work and put the feet to the ground to actually let people know that you have this thing to offer. And let me just put a little note here too, because this is what I see a lot, is people will be like, oh yeah, well I mean, I do the thing, but like nobody ever hires me. Nobody knows about it. That's your fault if nobody knows about it. Go out and do the work. Your job in the beginning is to go out and network, right? Like it is. It's your job. So figure out a way to do that in the best way that works with your lifestyle and what you've got going on, and then get those clients and keep on moving. All right. I hope that was super helpful. If you are looking to start a business from home in 2023, my best advice is just to like get started. Go do the thing. Don't worry about trying to build a TikTok or an Instagram or a website or a YouTube or whatever. Those things can come later. Just do a service, do it well, and get some clients. All right. That's all for me today, y'all. Bye.